All right, so this podcast is called Filmmaking with Noobs, and this is a podcast where we're basically just going to talk about our experience with filmmaking, the romantics episodes, and all the other projects that we're doing right now for YouTube and otherwise, which no one's seen yet. I'll let everybody go around the room and introduce themselves. We'll start with Vincent.
Hi, I am Vincent. I play in the romantics. I play the character called Lippy or Lipton, however you want to call him. But yeah, I mean it's. I think he's pretty fun to play. I try to make him as funny as I can. Yeah. And a little bit about me. I love all of this stuff. I love all the YouTube series. I love video games, TV, playing BioShock right now. BioShock and what else am I playing? Playing a little bit of. I started playing Dota again a little bit. It's been fun. And TV. I'm watching. I just finished the third season of Walking Dead. I'm catching up on Game of Thrones. I'm starting the fourth season of Fringe.
Ooh, favorite television show, real quick.
Favorite television show? Well, right now it's probably Bravest Warriors. It's not really a television show; it's a YouTube show. But Adventure Time. I'm finishing up Adventure Time.
Oh, Bravest Warriors! I saw the first episode a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
I'm finishing up. I'm catching up finally on Adventure Time. And God, I just love it. I love it so much. I love cartoons. I love cartoons. I want to make a cartoon one day.
I have another question for you. What in high school? What kind of clique were you? What kind of guy were you?
It was. I was never really in a clique because I played football and I played music and I was just super nice to everybody, and so luckily I was pretty much in every group except for like the 5 or 6 blonde girls that I never talked to at all during high school. But with everybody else, because I had an older brother who was a couple years older than me and a younger sister who was just a few years younger than me, and so it was like when I was a freshman, he was a senior, and so I kind of I knew all of everyone older than me, and then when I was a senior, my sister was a freshman, so I knew everyone younger than me. So it was kind of nice. I could pretty much hang out with anybody I wanted to. Yeah.
I'd never asked you that question. I don't know anything about. I mean, I know you went to high school with my cousin, but other than that, I didn't know. Yeah. I thought you were maybe like me and just a nerd and didn't talk to anybody. But it sounds like you had a pretty great experience. So with that, we're gonna go over to Dan.
I went to high school.
Hey, I was just like you, Aaron.
Yeah.
I was a nerd and didn't talk to anyone. That's not totally true, but I didn't have like gobs of people to talk to. I think when you and I were growing up, we live in a really exciting time. I'm Dan, by the way, and I played Dan on the Romantics. But we live in a really exciting time for me because, like, people love to talk about these things and people love to experience these things and share them. And when Wes and I were growing up, and probably when Aaron and I were growing up, it was a very narrow field of people that could really talk to each other about comic books and video games and science fiction and fantasy.
Absolutely, yeah.
I love those things. Like, I'm a little bit of an escapist, but even going outside of that, I mean, I like to talk about those things with people. It's one of my favorite things to do with these guys. And we're really fortunate to live in a day and age where, like, that's accepted and even encouraged. I mean, Hollywood spends so much money on stuff that
catering to us.
I love. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're spending it on me, and they should.
Yeah. I remember when I was a kid not being able to watch a comic book film because they didn't exist.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, and I remember when Lord of the Rings came out, and it was like the dawn of crazy amounts of fantasy in the theater.
Right.
Or sci-fi or anything. I mean, we had that stuff before, but it was so few and far between.
I would actually say I would say it would be episode 1 of the Star Wars.
True, but it was still.
Series.
I mean, now it's like 3/4 of the films that come out have something to do with that.
Yeah.
Well, even when I was in early high school, I only had probably a handful of people I even talked to about any of this stuff, who even knew anything about any of this stuff. You know, even then it wasn't as widely recognized as it is now.
Yeah.
You know, I think honestly we should thank Michael Bay and Roland Emmerich for completely exhausting the big summer blockbuster movie and turning people off that and causing Hollywood to go look for other, avenues of entertainment. So
that's absolutely true.
That's awesome. Thanks, guys. That's the only time I'll ever say thanks to Michael Bay.
I also want to point out, as I worked in the book industry for like 9 years, and we really, really, really have to thank J.K. Rowling because she raised. I'm not a Harry Potter fan. It's not something that I personally am into, but I know a lot of a lot of people who are.
Yes.
But I like she really did raise like a whole generation of people that are open to these things, and train a generation of parents to allow their kids to enjoy things that are not like hard and fast in the real world, and that are just like beautiful to them for whatever reason. And I think that's exciting, and I think that made a lot of this possible too.
I never thought about that before, but that makes a lot of sense.
And Harry Potter awesome. and those type of like younger teen fictions are great segues into like this type of world.
Nerddom.
Right. It really is. Even it's so far to say like anything that has to do with like, you know, vampires, werewolves, anything like that. It's a segue into this type of things. I mean, that is what a lot of this stuff is based off. You know, that type of fantasy.
Let's get back to Dan real quick.
Yeah.
And just tell us a little bit about yourself and your character and something that you like on television.
All right. Well, my formative years were probably spent in the book industry, just like indulging this nerddom secretly at first and then publicly later as it became more socially acceptable. And probably equally formative were time that I spent working first with Aaron's brother-in-law, and then with Aaron, who I really appreciate for. Yeah, it was extremely fun, and like you're like 60% of the reason that experience was so fun, but also who's responsible for getting me involved in all of this, and I'm really excited about it.
Excited to have you.
Thanks.
Now kiss.
There's a lot of excitement.
And now the romantic part starts.
This is what the romantics are about.
Hence the title.
Basically.
It's exactly what you guys thought from the beginning.
Correct. You get a lot of comments about that on Twitch.
Yes, tons.
Are you guys like together?
Are you guys gay? Yes. I always just say yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like it has any real impact on the content, so
no, not at all. Not at all.
So I so I did those things. Obviously, I'm a big nerd and I like all that geeky stuff, and I like talking about it. But I played Dan on the Romantics, who I don't know if I want to give anything away about the character. Can we talk about this? Because people haven't. I know not everyone's seen the show.
He's a season 2 introduction. Our season 1 is like a pilot episode chopped up. So I mean, you can.
He's. I want to say, like, if this character is even remotely likable, it's for drastically different reasons than any of the other characters.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Everybody else, like, you look at him and you smile, and you're like, oh, it's Aaron. It's Aaron and Wes in the car.
We sort of preemptively set the stage for Dan with the little Dan Enjoys video there. That was kind of an accident.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that to sort of turn out the way it did towards the character in the episode.
Yeah. Dan enjoys things differently than the other Romantics. So.
I've got some feedback on your character. Basically, people like outside of the YouTube saying, that guy creeps me out.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of posts.
Are you okay with that?
So mission accomplished.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that's completely fine.
There's also several people that are like, I don't know, I think I'm Team Dan at this point.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
I'm really excited about your character. It's a lot of fun to write, and.
By the way, I haven't been. It's been a really busy week for me. It's only been a week, which is crazy, and I haven't had a chance to respond to any of that. But Team Dan. Thanks.
I've already started.
You know what? If I'm just a viewer, I'm actually Team Dan right now myself.
It's just because you're too close to the source of Team West.
Well, I could never be Team West because that guy's an asshole in the show so far.
So it's Team Dan.
We don't know that yet for sure.
Based off of real life.
Not Team Dan, just Dan.
He just forgot the eggs and the pancakes. I mean, he's not made of money, so it's not really his fault.
You are the anti-hero. I mean, you are the protagonist, but you are also the villain. So
you're the Punisher, basically.
I don't get to shoot anybody though yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I'm trying to decide if I want to go that
It's impossible
direction.
to compete with Lippy's character anyway.
That's true.
Or the character of Lippy. So I gotta say Lippy's character.
Vincent's kind of a show stealer.
Yeah, it's not really fair.
See, that's weird because I actually haven't figured out a way to actually define the character of Lippy yet.
Yeah.
Like I just kind of I try to keep like before we film each time I try to watch each episode again and then try to stay on that same train of thought
That's
that
what
I
I
had
want you to
like
do.
whenever I was like filming it or anything, but I still was like, this would be really funny to do, or like I would like to do this, or like to act this way, respond to in this way. But I don't know if that's just because I like that, and I think it would be funny for me, or if it's actually in the in the range of what Lippy would do.
Right.
So it's very silly.
Well, I think it is because Lipton is like a raw nerve, and he just responds emotionally to everything in like its purest way. Like however he would just like emotionally, this vulnerable person just reacts.
I think with what you were just saying about trying to define Lipton as something or whatever, and it's kind of been difficult because of his character, that it's sort of become his character as being sort of a wild card.
Yeah, a little
Right.
bit.
Like
That's
he
true.
has there's the underlying Lipton thing all the time that comes from you, but there's no telling what he might do at any moment as
Right.
far as we know.
I'm going to speak to that real quick. I was trying to sit here I was deciding whether or not I was going to reveal a little bit of a spoiler for anybody, I guess, that hasn't seen it, but I'm just going to. When I originally wrote the character of Lipton, I had him as basically just a weirdo who Wes thinks is autistic.
Right. And a lot of people that have watched the show still think he's autistic because I said that.
And I keep that in the back of my mind all the time. It's like, I'm supposed to be autistic, I think. I don't.
And that's when because Wes calls him autistic, and we hadn't, Vincent and I hadn't discussed the script before we filmed. Vincent got it and thought, I'm going to play this character as autistic, and I'm going to turn the dial up on it. And then at the last second, I told him, "You're not autistic. You have a neighbor with a thick New England accent who is trying to say that you're artistic." Wes misunderstood and thought she said autistic.
Yeah, which none of that's in the show.
So,
but-
right. I'm not going to include it, so we can say it here. But Vincent, at the last second, I said, "You're not autistic," and the look on his face was like, I'm not
Yeah,
prepared.
like I was actually like, watching like videos of autistic kids and stuff. Like, how do I do this?
I recently had a discussion about this with someone that was kind of like at length about whether or not Lipton is autistic, and what we arrived at was he's definitely in the Asperger's spectrum, but that he's not necessarily autistic. I mean, you're a talker.
A little bit, yeah.
So he's never been in a psychologist's office, so that world of medicine doesn't know what to. I mean, they don't have a definition for what
Yeah,
he
there's
is yet.
nothing
Which
in
is-
the DSMR. What is it? The DSMR.
Yeah.
What is it?
The manual.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the little. Yeah.
All of the ratings and descriptions for what you are.
There's no Lipton.
Right.
There's no cure.
There's not one for Lipton.
There are some
Yet.
weird things in that book.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Adria had to go through tons of stuff in that when she was going through her schooling for nutrition stuff.
Just things about armpits and
Yeah,
cheese.
there's weird,
I don't
yes,
even know.
brainworms, all kinds of things.
Somebody for everybody.
Symptoms for brainworms.
So, what was I saying? About me revealing the fact that he's not actually autistic and throwing that curveball at Vincent right at the beginning. Lippy is like 90% Vincent's invention. So I didn't know what he was going to do with it. He busted out this. It was like like I said, he turned the dial to 11 on this
walk.
character, and I just got to laughing so hard, and I said, "Man, you got to pull that down a little bit because Wes and I are trying to play ourselves and be realistic, and you're like so animated."
And Vincent's duck walking down the street with his feet out, and Aaron is laughing. We're in the car.
You look like a Fritz the Cat
Yeah,
animation.
Aaron is sitting in the car
With
when
the
you started
music.
doing that, just laughing so hard when we were trying to film that. And he was like, "Oh my gosh, what is he doing? He's got to do that. He's got to do less of that."
Yeah.
And I was like, "I don't know, man. I think it's pretty funny." And then it just became like one of Lipton's things. Like you can't not do that now.
I love it. Yeah, it's
It's
awesome.
like we have Lipton instead of a theme song.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's the Romantics mascot. Lipton.
Well,
Like
that
a
I
big
mean,
oversized head. I'm trying to start wearing.
Yeah,
it now
you're
for
gonna
myself.
bobblehead you in all our pictures. Nobody else, just you.
I love getting to watch when I go and edit the episodes. I love getting to watch what he does with it because I'm not a director. Like through this process, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, but I've discovered that directing is way harder than I thought, and Vincent makes it very easy. So I appreciate that.
It's kind of fun because we all kind of direct ourselves. You know.
Yeah.
It's very diplomatic.
It's
how
like
we,
we get
you know.
the direction from Aaron of kind of what he wants, and
Yeah.
then we sort of play ourselves mixed with this character. For me, I'm no actor. I consider myself absolutely terrible at it. I've never done it before. I've never wanted to do it before. it's not a thing that ever crossed my mind that I would ever do in any way, shape, or form. In fact, I've tried to stay away from it on purpose.
But he's
because
a good
Aaron's always
friend.
filmed stuff.
Yeah.
So the good thing about this, and I'm terrified if I ever have to act and play some other type of character because I don't think I'll be able to do it. But the good thing about this is the character is a lot like me anyway.
It's an exaggerated version.
But it's like with me, it's with me letting my asshole tendencies sort of go a little bit instead of keeping them in check.
Yeah.
So it's
In real life,
easy for me to play.
in real life, character development and story arcs, the timeline on those is like really stretched out. And so it's you don't have to be an asshole forever. In real life and in the show.
I've told a few people this, but after like the first two episodes we were watching it, my wife is sitting there. I'm watching it with her. It's the first time she's seen like the second or third episode. She has like this realization. I see the light bulb pop over her head, you know? And she looks at me and she's like, "You never get to be funny in any of these." And I was like, "Well, thanks."
That's
and
not true.
I
and then she
absolutely disagree
responds,
with
and then
that.
the very next thing she says is, "You're like a jerk. Why do you have to have that look on your face all the time in these shows?" And I was like, "That's the way I look anyway."
Well, I think, but you're easily the most normal one out of any of us.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
guys
you're the
irritated
street-
the crap out of me in this show.
I think everybody is hilarious kind of in their own way, because the thing that I like about Wes is like your curt replies to things. Just really, when there's a line in the last episode that Aaron delivers, and I was like, "Hey, that's like a Wes line." Now you know they're related.
Yeah. Let's move into.
Hold on, I still have to introduce myself.
Oh yeah. I haven't really introduced myself.
Wait, who,
Yeah, you're supposed to go first.
Well, I was gonna go before you.
This is obviously
who
the
are y'all?
first podcast.
Yeah.
This is our first podcast. I'm Dan, and I
Real
don't know
quick,
these guys.
favorite show? We'll talk about it later.
That's a loaded question.
Give us
It's
one.
Fringe.
I just have three,
Okay, name them.
and just really short things to say about them.
Go.
The show that I'm watching that's current that I'm most excited about is Game of Thrones. I haven't, no spoilers on YouTube, please, because I won't be able to watch it until after the weekend. But I'm watching Fringe. Is really, really amazing. That's my favorite show that's on Netflix right now. And then my favorite show that's going to be on Netflix, the program that I'm looking forward to the most, is the new episodes of Arrested Development, which is May 23rd?
26th, I think.
26th? Okay.
May 20 something.
All right.
So.
Well, we're not advertising that, but you should watch it because it's awesome.
Freaking watch that.
Yeah, I actually...
absolutely buy them.
Yeah, I have a date to go marathon, like 2 seasons of that show.
That's awesome.
Yeah, this weekend or sometime. It's a friend date.
I don't mean to do this, but like a little interaction with the viewer, the listening audience. Like, why the hell weren't you guys there in 2003?
Yeah, what the hell?
I spent 4 hours signing petitions to keep. I saved and got season 3. I think that was like 10% me, honestly. But where were you guys?
I was looking for you, and I didn't see you there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited for that too.
Well, we're glad your crusade worked out.
Yeah.
I
We're getting it back.
It's
So
finally
that's good.
coming to fruition.
Yeah.
All right, so my name is Wes. Most of the people that are going to see this to start with or hear this know me. I stream on Twitch. That's the main thing that I do. I do that 4 days a week, 6 hours a day. I originally started doing that to sort of drive traffic towards Aaron's project that he was already doing that I wasn't even a part of yet. I ended up in a situation in my home, we'll go over this another time, where I had to quit my job to stay at home all the time, and I needed some kind of an avenue of something to do to keep me busy so I wouldn't go crazy. So I kind of just injected myself into Aaron's other project, which is a 30-minute-ish type TV show kind of thing, and it's been being worked on for like a year now. It's just a much bigger production than this, and maybe someday soon you guys will get to see that too. But I also do all of the YouTube stuff right now as far as uploading and all of the SEO and all that kind of stuff. I do the audio on all of our film stuff. What else do I do?
Truly the backbone of a lot of this project.
Yeah, he's
basically-
the acting producer, really.
And so, I mean, I put a lot of time into it. It's at this point, it's a thing where I'm so obsessed with all of this stuff being done correctly and having a chance to become something. I mean, I've pretty much set aside money and time to be able to just completely run all of this stuff from the rear and and keep it from the rear. Some of those from the rear. I like saying from the rear because people always make comments about it.
Or just crack awkward smiles.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot of
week.
work. It's a lot of work. It's rewarding though when we put a video up and a lot of people make loving comments toward us, and you know, the people that are in my stream have been ridiculously supportive. I'm not big enough on Twitch to have a partnership, but I still have people that subscribe via PayPal and give me a little bit of money every month just to help me be able to keep doing this and stuff, and I really appreciate that. And so the Romantics overall is not just us. It's a community of people that we put together. The Twitch community that we have, and I don't exaggerate when I say this, but it's the best community on Twitch. It's small. Everybody in there knows each other now through the channel. They all play games together on Twitch. Over Steam. It's just crazy what it's turned into. At one point, we had just a person on Twitch decide, hey, we all need to know like what our Steam name is and what our Twitch name is in a forum or something, so we can tell who's who and we can shout out to people and play games with them easily. And they like went off and created like a Google Doc, and we had like 100 people on there just putting their names and their Steam usernames on there.
That's
and stuff.
awesome.
Yeah,
And
awesome
it's something to
community.
be said about the relationship with them to you.
Yeah.
That's something that's great, but it's more of the relationship that they have to each other now.
Right.
Like they're all becoming friends, and
Right.
and they're really are forming a community within themselves as
Right.
well. We're just kind of like the head for it.
Right.
Letting them do it. But I think it's great.
The whole
awesome.
point now, it used to be, like I said, when I started out, the whole point to me was to drive traffic to a YouTube channel to create a viewer base for something that Aaron was doing, or a fan base that could get to know us, and whatever format we ended up putting this out, we would have a small group of people to help us with it and promote it and all that kind of stuff. And eventually what happened through the amazing response on Twitch was just my goals changed from that to creating a better atmosphere for the community. Instead of growing viewership, it was growing community. And so that's one of the reasons we're doing this podcast, and we have another podcast planned as well. So we'll have two different ones at some point once we get all this set up. But this is really about being able all of us can't stream. Most of us have jobs. We have to do those jobs. I'm in a fortunate situation where I don't have to go get a 40-hour-a-week job right now like the average person. So for Aaron works on this stuff all the time too. For Vincent and Dan, Vincent goes to school, Dan works, Vincent also works. They have to do that right now. Eventually we hope to be able to get to the point where maybe we could all do this full time, but for now it basically is a project where through these podcasts we want to interact with you guys. So we want to have something where you guys can find out about all of us, not just me on Twitch every day. And also for our organic viewers that come in from other places that don't watch Twitch and don't know anything about us. They've just been seeing things on YouTube. They don't know who these guys are or anything about us. So we're going to use this as a chance to be more personal with you guys and interact with you guys. And that's really what I am focused on doing within this group.
Well, also this podcast, it really opens up new venues of ways of people we can interact with, because we can talk about whatever the hell we want to,
Right.
How like the Romantic is about certain thing, Twitch
Right.
is about certain thing, and we have other things about those specific things, and this is like completely open to whatever, we can just shoot the shit, we can just talk about whatever we want to,
Right.
and so that it just opens up whole new venues to everybody else
Right.
through through this outlet.
Yeah.
And we're not uptight. We're real laid back. We don't like it, to be uptight. And so if you're real uptight and you want us to just talk about filmmaking, then this might be the wrong podcast, because we're going to talk about those things, but not just those things, because there are other things that we like. And frankly, I'm just here to talk to these guys and talk to you guys.
Oh my god.
That was East Texas hairdresser Dan.
Sorry, Aaron.
The best kind of Dan.
Okay, Wes.
And Aaron, your turn.
Yeah, I need your favorite television show.
Favorite television show
Or
right
just
now
one that you wanna
is
claim.
Mad Men.
Okay.
Mad Men is a show that I watched the first 2 episodes of and hated, and I wondered why everybody liked it. And then when I got to the 3rd episode, all of a sudden I realized that this show was doing something for me that no show had ever done before. It was a show that was like 20 small shows in the same show about 20 different characters.
It's
Talking
badass.
sweetly to you and not criticizing the length of your penis.
Yeah, exactly.
No
and
show's ever done that.
Yeah, no show's ever done that before. And so I really enjoy the character development in the show. I'm currently got my wife to watch it, and she's all caught up too. And so we're watching it together now, and it's amazing. And I can't wait until the next episode comes out.
It's
Awesome.
a badass show. Don't spoil the current season.
Oh, I'm
for
not.
me. Okay.
Don't worry, I don't do spoilers.
Okay.
Okay, my name is Aaron. I am in a fortunate place where I get to have my friends help me out with my interests and my hobbies and my projects. So I'm really appreciative to everybody at this table.
We love you.
Thank you. I live a very lucky, blessed, whatever you want to label it, kind of life. And so my role on the show is I am the writer and director. But yeah, The Romantics it's a show about a private investigator and his idiot cousin played by me. And we get to do it every 2 weeks. I get to sit down, write it, storyboard it, like pick out locations, shoot it, get home, edit it, and then put it on, and then, not check the internet for 2 days while I throw up and take nothing but baths and naps because I'm so
That's
terrified.
all true, by the way. That's
Baths,
all
naps, and
100% true.
Actually, it's not 100% true. I've yet to throw up. I've swallowed whatever came up, and mostly it's just like really loose stools and baths. Not at the same time.
It always turns into
thankfully.
something about poop.
Poop or penis?
Yes.
Actually, hey guys, penis is fine. I don't want to use the POOP word.
You're talking about
People-
it.
I said stools.
People order our patties.
What?
People order our patties.
Gosh. Oh man.
That sounds worse somehow.
Aaron was just talking about sitting on chairs.
Yes. Rickety old
Yeah,
bar
it was a
stools.
loose stool.
I was talking about
Loose
boats.
seal.
The poop deck.
So why am I have it written here on my little itinerary. It's a question for myself that I actually find kind of offensive. I don't know why I wrote this down. Why are you writing this show and not going to school or working a normal job?
Why are you writing the show, Aaron, instead of going to school or working a normal job?
That's a great question, Dan.
I'm curious.
Well, because I was going to school and I was a very terrible student. I don't think I'm a dummy. I don't think I'm an idiot, but my grades did not reflect that. And when I talked to people and got on forums and looked around about film schools and just kind of looking into that whole world, like, I was asking myself, is this something I really want to do? Of course, yes. But is film school something that could help me? And my wife had already gone through school and opened up her practice. And we have student loans from her, and trying to get a loan to go to film school, I did not see myself being able to pay that back or being able to get value out of that, because everything I've read online and heard from other people that have done the same thing, film school is good for networking and getting your hands on equipment. And I took that and kind of ran with it. So I wrote a script for a 30-minute pilot and went to an art group. It was a group of artists, like photographers. My brother-in-law, who's a cartoonist and does children's books. And at this group, I presented my script and like my pitch for it. And a guy that I used to go to a Bible study with 10 years ago said, he's a professional photographer, said, I would like to help you do that. So he jumped on and became like the co-director and cinematographer on that. And that really allowed me to focus more on the filmmaking rather than just being some kind of silly hobby. I could say, I'm not going to go to school. I've networked. I've now got somebody that has equipment. Let's see if we can really make something of this. And the filming on that's been a lot of fun so far.
And a lot of work.
Right. And so what The Romantics is, The Romantics was a way to introduce ourselves to people and to let people know that we're out there and we're doing these things. Because if I was to take a 30-minute pilot and simply like try to shop that around, I mean, nobody would give it a second glance. Nobody would even see it. But one thing that's really cool, the thing I love about The Romantics is it's taken off bigger than I thought it was going to be. Like the amount of effort we're able to put into it and the direction we're able to take this is really exciting for me, because I mean, now I'm actually getting to do what I want. I'm living like my dream for my life. I am actually making films, or making, shows. I should really work on that saying. Hold on, let me make a quick note. Slash. So, yeah, the Romantics is bigger than I thought it was going to be. We're able to make a whole series out of it. We've got a whole story arc planned for this season, and then I've got one ready to go for the next one. I'm really excited about it. And I did not think I was going to be able to work with Vincent and Dan when we first started, and now that we got them,
because he thought we were going to be totally unmanageable, and he was right.
We actually just figured that people wouldn't have time.
Right,
for
yeah.
the most part. Plus, I mean, we didn't really know. I didn't know Vincent at all when we started doing this.
Yeah.
I mean, just barely from pen and paper.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, Aaron knew you, but not like this, as much as we do now.
Right. Well, by that time,
actually,
by the time I pretty much got into this, we had been working on that for like
3 months.
Yeah.
Was it already 3 months? Yeah, I guess like 3-4 months, whatever. But because we met in August, or it was like late July is when we met.
Yeah.
And then then they were after midway through that, they're like, hey, we're doing this other thing, because we found out we all obviously share the same interests and visions, and I pretty much explained to them like 100, that project was awesome, and anything else would be incredible, and and they approached me with the idea of this. I was like, yes, that sounds so much fun, and yeah, and then I don't think, same with you, like I didn't think we would get this response at all, because it would be like a like a build up to something else, but this has become something in itself.
Yeah.
And
for the time being, it's the thing.
Yeah, it really is a thing, and it's so.
Yeah, we're kind of stuck in limbo on the other episode, trying to get a couple of scenes done. And
Well, it's just a much bigger thing, and it's harder to get
it's
schedules.
huge. You just got
to match up.
10 to 15 people involved instead of 2 to 4.
But
Yeah.
it will get done.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
it's going to be awesome when it's
Right.
done. Do you want to talk about the title, or is that?
I'll just
Everybody that's watched the stream already knows the
you
title.
mentioned it.
I haven't given away anything about the show except that it's
Yeah.
got nerdy stuff.
yeah,
in
the
it.
title's simply pen and paper. So I won't go into synopsis or anything.
Yeah, we
but,
don't. We're not doing a synopsis yet, just because we don't want to give it away before it's done.
It is a different kind of show.
Right. It's,
Yeah.
It's,
Well, it takes itself a lot more seriously, I
yeah.
would say.
It's definitely not a. It's not. It's a very serious undertaking, as well as a show that has a deeper plot and.
Right. There's
Yeah.
definitely humor in it. I think the
Right.
script is really funny, but it's not just something
Right.
light that you watch while you're eating a sandwich.
Right.
Well, I mean, you can eat a sandwich while you watch it.
You may eat a sandwich
That's
if
how
you'd
I
like.
watch my TV shows.
I watch mine through my sandwich.
I
take a bite out of the middle like a little kid. And
Actually, I've gotten so nervous while watching any kind of media now that honestly, when I watch things, I do this.
yeah.
I put one hand over my face, and then I take the other hand and I make a little small triangle and I cut out everything.
And that's
but
ridiculous.
75% of the TV, because I've been watching a lot of Curb Your Enthusiasm,
Which is embarrassing to watch.
and it's almost as bad as the British version of The Office as far
Yes.
as
It's
just
very
the-
embarrassing.
like someone you don't like running their
I mean,
fingernail down your spine.
Larry David, that guy, man. The worst one I've seen so far is the episode where he goes in the bathroom and he hides his water bottle in the front of his pants, because the last time he went in this theater, this lady like yelled at him for bringing water in there, and he's not allowed to do that. And this little girl, he had to go in the women's bathroom, and he asked his wife to watch it for him, and she left him in there. So when he came out, he was holding his water bottle, and he was like, when he was about to leave, he's like, well, I gotta hide this, so because I'm going to the theater. So he stuck it in the front of his pants. Right when he opens the door to walk out, this little bitty girl like runs into him with her face, and she turns around and she goes, mommy, he's got something hard in his pants. And he's just standing there like, what? And the episode ends. Yeah, that's one of those like, oh my gosh moments.
It's super cringe. Just
Yeah,
no.
I can't believe I'm watching this. This is hurting me right now.
That's a fairly good segue into my favorite shows.
Okay.
Curb Your Enthusiasm. I'm a big fan of that show. I still don't think it's as good as Seinfeld. Seinfeld I started watching when I was 8 because I heard some sports moms, baseball moms talking about it while I should have been practicing. I was sitting in that dugout, 8 years old, not paying attention, listening to some women behind me, talk about what they just
really were.
Yeah, you got to pay
That's
attention
true,
to
actually.
the ladies. And so, yeah,
The ladies.
they were laughing their butts off about this show. I went home and said, "Mom, can we watch this?" And so she sat down, and Thursday nights became our
The
new
only
thing.
8-year-old in the history of time that went home and asked his mom if he could watch Seinfeld.
I bet that's not true.
One of three.
Okay, that's probably a little closer. That's a 300% increase.
There's millions of people in the world.
Exactly, at least.
Seinfeld, though, has kind of defined me. Like, my parents did had a very large part in defining who I am, but Seinfeld's like 20% of that. I honestly, and I'm not kidding when I say this, it needs to be shown in schools. Dan will disagree with me, but I think third, fourth grade.
I
kids,
like Seinfeld.
Oh, I'm thinking of somebody else then.
Yeah, I don't know if it had that much of an impact on me or most of the people our age.
I think it needs to be shown. I think people need to know how to operate in society, and Seinfeld definitely does that.
It's a guidebook on what not to do.
Yeah,
exactly. But I mean, through their like discussions of
It's a guidebook on everybody doing what you're not supposed to do, and Jerry going, "Why?"
their examinations of the minutia of like just everyday life is perfect.
I think that the same is true in different contexts of Arrested Development. Now, it's not as much of an everyday life program because it is a scenario program. Like, it's made possible, like the situation that they're in is made possible by this strange circumstance that they're all sort of stuck in.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, as far as like morality and as far as like people making mistakes, I feel like there is a moral to every episode. And I was watching commentary on the Venture Brothers one time, and they were talking about how the show itself is about failure, and about like the kind of beauty of failure, because those groups of characters are all like sort of familial, and they love each other. They're all going down the same hole together, whatever. And that's kind of how Arrested Development is too, because there's just this underlying affinity that you have for them, and however miserable they become, it's like you're kind of there with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Seinfeld defines me, and I have to say that's my favorite show. Arrested Development is the funniest sitcom I've ever seen.
I think just as a disclaimer for everybody here, I don't like making lists. It's hard for me to do.
I love it. I love making
lists. I do too.
But I think probably for all of us, it's hard to say this is my favorite thing of all time.
What are you doing over there?
Like, I think it's
making a list.
I think it's better to say this is my favorite show. Like, Aaron can say Seinfeld. I can't do that for any show. Like, there's so many shows that mean totally different things to me. Like, I don't even put them in the same category. So
that's true.
Hold on, I got to do this real quick. Say 2 more sentences about something.
Yeah, well, like mine is it's like I had it about shows and I had that about movies. I usually try to keep like a top 10 of everything.
Yeah.
I have a top, like, with comics is a little bit different. I have a top like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Because those, like, there's only been certain ones that have played like a really big impact on my life.
Right.
But like shows, same thing. I get totally different emotional.
I can do like a top
20
20 in no particular order, but that's about as close as
This is a top 4 in particular order. It is Seinfeld, Arrested Development, Twin Peaks, and King of the Hill.
Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Twin Peaks is my favorite show from the 90s.
By the way, Aaron made me watch Mulholland Drive one time.
We saw it in the movie theater together.
Yeah, we saw it at the movie theater.
I actually,
it scared the living crap out of me.
I enjoy
those
parts
tiny
of it.
people.
Sorry.
No, those tiny people.
Yeah.
Those tiny people. Period.
They're demons.
they're demon babies.
They're like time demons from the mind or something.
Something.
I don't know. That's a terrible introduction to David Lynch. But then I realized I was explaining this to somebody recently, and like almost half of David Lynch's movies are a terrible introduction to David Lynch. I think everybody should see.
Very jarring.
Yeah, I think everybody should see. The first one that I saw was Lost Highway, and I feel like it's as...
That's the absolute worst.
No.
My gosh,
I feel like it's as Lynch as a David Lynch movie can get, but on one hand, it prepares you for how effed up, like... I still am not a big Eraserhead fan, but like Mulholland Drive can be. But on the other... Yeah, and you're not either.
No, say, well, my introduction to David Lynch was Eraserhead.
Sorry, dude.
And I WTF the entire time.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm not going to try to sell
I
you on
can't
this
finish
movie
that
anymore.
one.
It's a great film.
Oh, I like this stuff. That was just what I was introduced to. I didn't like that.
I just want to say, on the other hand, like, it makes it really like puts you in a mindset where you can appreciate the humor and how refreshing some of his other movies are.
Yeah.
Like Wild at Heart is an amazing movie.
Yeah.
It's just really funny, and if you like things that are corny, if you like Nicolas Cage, it doesn't matter if you like Laura Dern.
Doesn't
or not.
everybody on the net like
But
Nicolas Cage?
I think so. Well, everybody.
It's like a requirement.
Everybody on Reddit likes Nicolas Cage. I legitimately like Nicolas Cage two ways. Ironically, the way everybody does, and unironically, meaning I actually think
Yes,
that
absolutely.
like. Have you ever seen that episode of In the Artist Studio with James Lipton, with
That's where the name comes
with
from.
Nicolas Cage? And he just takes it all like completely seriously, but can still laugh about himself.
Yeah.
It's remarkable.
I haven't seen that. No.
I saw it on YouTube. I don't know if it's still there, but it's like 2 hours or something. It's on YouTube. If you like Nicolas Cage, like for real, watch it. It's kind of old, but it's beautiful. I love the guy.
That's awesome.
But-
I'm definitely gonna watch that tonight.
Every time I think of Nicolas Cage, the very first thing that pops in my head is that scene from the movie The Rock, where
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
where the air conditioner unit falls on the
You've seen
guy's
a lot of dead bodies.
yeah, where the air conditioner falls on the guy and his foot's twitching and he looks at it and he goes, "You've seen a lot of dead bodies. Tell me, is that normal?"
Oh my gosh! I
Yes.
spray peed my neighbor's pants while
The
watching.
look
that
on
in the
his
movie
face,
theater.
man, is like every meme out there right now. In that, in that
I
scene.
took my pants off, stood over my neighbor in the movie theater, and pissed his pants and laughed.
Man, it's that
was
good.
yes, absolutely.
I've still never seen Kiss of the Vampire. So
Yeah.
if you guys want to get together and watch that
I will-
sometime,
I haven't
or
seen it either. So.
I will Skype watch that with somebody from YouTube. I'm lonely sometimes. Or if you want to get on what's the Google chat?
It's Google.
Google
Chat.
Hangouts.
Google Hangouts. If
Yeah.
somebody wants to have a Kiss the Vampire Google Hangout, I mean we can organize a drawing or something. Google Hangout with Dan. Kiss the Vampire. We'll do it. Let me know.
Do movie Twitch type of thing.
Leave a comment. Leave a comment
that
below
makes
if you
zero
want to
sense.
hang out with Dan.
Yeah, really, 'cause watch a movie on Twitch, or it's just like watch the movie on Twitch, but just have like the just talking in the in the.
You can't do
chat.
that,
It's,
sadly.
we
On
could,
Twitch.
we could find a forum.
Yeah. Oh, you could do it on.
There's websites that do that.
Yeah, you could do it on. There's a lot of places you could
We'll
actually
find
do
a
it.
way.
You could do it on Google Hangouts.
Movies
though.
with the Romantics.
Yeah, you like everybody start your video now.
Yeah. Wes, I need you to do me a favor real quick.
Yes.
I've been messing with my eye because it's itchy, and I feel like I have a whole bird's
No.
nest of situation there.
There's nothing.
Okay.
All
right.
I've been blinking like crazy.
So okay, so let's get into the
Okay.
next part of this real
Yeah.
quick.
I'm gonna segue and
Back on
basically
topic.
just say this is kind of how it's simply gonna go. I think. I don't think we can stay on topic, and maybe that's not a bad.
That's okay.
So let's check.
We know a lot about a lot of things.
I love it.
Okay, yeah, I'm having fun. And this is our first one.
Let me get like a tally of how many times.
So I
we
think
wrap each other
I
up.
think the next thing we had on the list here to kind of go over a little bit was the Romantics brand, but I
I
kind of
think we
covered
covered-
that.
yeah,
I kind
that
of
is-
covered that with my introduction of myself with all
Yeah.
the stuff. But just very briefly, the Romantics is a group
I'll give you a
of
countdown.
the Romantics is a group of creative people. That's all it is. We're going to have lots of different projects. We're going to use YouTube for all of them. So just stay tuned for all of the weird things that we come up with.
Boom, nice.
I wasn't even looking.
Yeah, very nice.
It's like the internet version of Massive Attack, which makes me feel much cooler and a little bit like tricky.
Tricky. All right. So
Okay, so real quick, we got to
wish.
cover it a little bit.
I do.
Board games.
yes, board
We
games.
play them. We're gonna record ourselves playing them.
We love
We
them.
can watch them.
We're gonna
So
show
many-
them to
I'm a
you.
huge fan of the Dice Tower, and I would like him to acknowledge me as a person.
Tom
Just-
Vassell is awesome.
Yeah, I watch
And I love his
all
kids,
of those
too.
videos.
I'm better
Yeah.
at them than at board games.
And there definitely is a YouTube video where he's saying like my kid never actually eats the pieces. And the very next video I watched, you see the little girl and his little daughter in the background pop a piece in her mouth, and like it never comes out.
They look like candy. Have you seen Quarrior's
Yeah,
dice?
absolutely.
It looks like candy.
I
would
have
eat that
tasted
if
3
I
of
didn't
those
know better.
dice in there.
I'm
3
look-
different creatures.
I'm looking at the box and it makes me want to go to the candy barrel.
Yes.
Oh.
I mean, look at that. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's like little crystal hard candies, like a handful.
Did we just invent candy games?
Candy Crush
Candy
is
games.
amazing.
Candy Crush is fairly good.
My wife and I play this at night before we go to bed, and we're
You
going to
guys.
bed
I
at
saw
like
your
1
stupid
o'clock.
Facebook scores.
Are you seeing my scores?
I saw Tasha's.
You serious?
Yeah.
That's a big problem.
Yeah, it popped up on my feed last night. It said,
Wait, why
beat
is that a problem?
Tasha's score of 75,000 or something.
Because Tasha's a professional. Her Facebook page is attached to her profession.
it won't.
You sure?
Yeah.
Unless she has it set up to friends of friends, the people that follow her on her business won't see it.
Okay.
It'll just be people that follow.
I think
Tasha
she's
Bonner.
fine.
Okay.
Because I mean, it was just I saw it on my Facebook from her personal Facebook.
I went and got on my Facebook account and I couldn't find it, so I figured we were
Facebook
okay.
is a big old cluster.
Yeah. Okay.
There's so much weird menus and crap all over the
It
place.
used to be so clean.
I know. Now it's like you have to dig for 20 minutes to find out how to change. I couldn't even find my own photo album on my own page the other day.
I still like Facebook though. I'm not gonna lie. I spend a lot of time on Facebook.
Well,
I like it.
We have a really cool app that is going to be installed on our fan page by Fullscreen that allows people to do all of these cool things, like right on the page, like share movies and
Cool.
yeah.
Wow.
So we'll see how that goes.
I'm
We'll see how long it
excited
takes me
about
to
that.
get that thing working. But I tried to do it myself, but the guy told me you have to actually contact support to get it running.
Oh,
so.
I see. Well,
That's awesome.
let us know,
Yes.
everyone.
Oh, you'll know.
Okay.
It's the first time you've included yourself in us.
I think the new Blizzard game is going to be on Facebook. Am I wrong?
I have
Because
no
it's
idea.
iOS and
I will play
Facebook
that.
or something. I'll play that with you. I really want to.
Stop giving thumbs up.
Don't stop. Never stop.
Don't
Never
Stop
stop.
till you get enough.
Let's all four do a quick thumbs up.
Wait.
Thumbs up.
T-shirt. Never stop. But with Aaron. But with all of us. Well, there'll be 4 of us.
It'll just be your face with your hand and a bunch of hands coming in at you.
Or the
with
three of
thumbs
us
up
standing
also.
behind you, just kind of like covering our faces.
What do you guys think of the Never Stop T-shirt? Please let us know in the comments.
And don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Have we said that yet?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's
They were
supposed
saving
to be
that
at
for
the
the
end.
end.
That's supposed to be at the end.
Oh.
Aaron,
So
go.
pest
We'll do
you.
it many times.
Okay. So let's get to the reason why we call this filmmaking with boobs. I mean, I actually said that. Sorry. Filmmaking with noobs.
Would you like fries with that? Would you like flies with that? Shit!
Have a nice ass.
Oh man.
Oh.
We're sorry, Tom Vassell.
We were considering calling it, yeah, we were considering calling it filmmaking with boobs because boobs used to mean mistake or
People that make
idiots.
mistakes.
Yeah, people that make mistakes.
I thought we were joking about filmmaking with boobs.
Oh, I was actually kind of serious with it.
I thought we were joking about filmmakers. I thought we didn't actually have a name yet.
That's not what it's called. It's called. Sorry, Wes.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
called filmmaking with noobs.
Yeah, there's no boobs involved in the title.
Okay,
It's-
we still haven't put this out there yet. I might make it filmmaking with boobs
No.
because we could do
It
a
will
little
not be.
cartoon thumbnail.
No.
in the
No.
YouTube.
No,
No.
because 99.9% of the people will come looking for chicks with boobs.
And we'll be disappointed.
and
Well,
they
yeah.
will immediately leave.
And the remaining 1%
Do that-
will be
that
people
button
that
right
see it on
there?
accident.
Let's go ahead
but
and-
won't
let's
watch
undo
it
that
'cause it's
button.
not
Right.
safe for work.
Right, exactly. I'll be like, I can't watch something with boobs at work.
Okay, it's
Pod-
filmmaking with noobs.
Podcasts equals work, in my experience.
Yes.
That's when people
Yes,
listen to podcasts
exactly,
when they're at
exactly.
work or in the car.
Half the people that have told me that they're excited about us doing this are like, I listen to podcasts all day long at work.
Yeah, but your boss not going to walk by and say
It doesn't matter.
he's listening to boobs.
It doesn't matter because it makes you feel like that could happen
Okay, it's
Our-
filmmaking with noobs presented by the Romantics.
with boobs.
Our mutual friend won't even lick the lid
There's
of
no
his
boobs.
yogurt because he's so self-conscious at work. He's definitely not going to watch a podcast with boobs in the title. You know
Yeah.
who I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about.
I think so.
Okay. Anyway,
right.
guys.
Okay. So yeah, the real purpose of this, not only to introduce ourselves to people, was to also kind of expose ourselves, lay ourselves bare when it comes to filmmaking.
And how bad we might be at it.
Right. Since I'm not going to film
Definitely
school,
are.
I'm not going to film school. This is my version of film school, shooting the Romantics. And we are going to talk about the things we messed up, the goals that we had set for. Yeah. Should I be looking at y'all? I mean,
No.
Okay.
If you look at us, you need to have your mouth like this at the mic. And if you turn
No.
it this way, I can't hear anything
right.
you're saying.
Okay. What I mean, should I be? I would like. Yes.
You can look wherever you want
Okay.
for that.
Sorry
Dan's
to
got
my
it down.
ASMR
And we-
viewers out there.
Exaggerated.
Mouth turret.
Yeah, so I'm going to be talking about the goals I had set for the previous episode. If I thought those goals were met, how if they weren't met, like what can I do to improve upon them? Why did I not achieve whatever that goal was? Also, like what new problems have cropped up? What problems have been there from the beginning that we have trouble like tackling every time? So it's kind of just it's our process of doing this of filmmaking, and hopefully people could find it useful. They could maybe glean a tip from it here and there, or I mean really it should just be entertaining. So having said that, we're going to move on to a brief synopsis of the show and where we currently.
Real quick, it is a lot of like trial and error on our parts. You know, like we'll try something and we'll look at it. It's like we don't really like how that looks.
Yeah.
And then and then we'll go back and do it the way we wanted to do it. And then we try it again. It's like this didn't come out so well the last time. We didn't like how this.
We all know the
was shot.
The rules of filmmaking.
So as much as anything, this when we're on topic will probably be about creative process,
right?
Like ours specifically, but also in general, right?
Right, absolutely.
Okay.
So let's talk about the show. It's a show, like I said, about a private investigator, Wes, and his idiot tag-along cousin, me.
Which is based in some reality because I was a private investigator.
Yes, I did tag along with him just once or twice.
I think twice. Use your mic.
Yeah, there's I'm sorry, there is some kind of humming in the background.
Yeah, that's weird.
Everything's cool,
I can't
right?
hear it on
It's
here,
like a
though. That's
mower.
good.
I just want to make sure your house is not about to explode.
Nah, it's somebody else I do
It's a weed
yard
whack.
work.
Probably.
It is Saturday.
That's what's gonna happen.
And it's going to rain, so.
It is Saturday. Oh.
Yeah, so I'm the boob, or the boner, if you will, that ruins things. And we had there's a couple times where I got to tag along with Wes and sit in his car while he watched or tried to watch little old ladies take out
While I played Warcraft.
garbage. Yeah, should you say that? Like you can't get in trouble for that.
No, I can't get in
We've
trouble
talked
with
about so many brands and copyrighted things already.
That's
that.
all
It
we've
doesn't
talked
matter.
about.
No, you can do that.
I just want to inject really quickly that had it not been for World of Warcraft, I might not actually know this guy.
Not very well, anyway.
Yeah, not
Just
well.
only by proxy.
Probably not well enough for Aaron to have felt comfortable involving me in as much of this as he has.
Aaron's always kind of like, as far as him and I go, involved you in our conversations and things that we do anyway, because he's been friends with you for so long. So
Good.
Yeah.
Thanks, Aaron.
We probably would have ended up together anyway.
Yes.
I'm glad
We would have ended up.
But I
think
think all of those like super late night, middle of the night breakfasts helped us
Oh
out
my
too.
gosh.
Oh, yeah.
After our tabletop gaming sessions
Yeah, we used to-
that no one else would ever go to.
Yeah, we used to play in a tabletop role playing group.
It was awesome.
We used the GURPS system, not D&D, and it was a super fun experience. But
Our game master moved to Seattle, and we're very
Tony,
sad.
what the hell, man?
And
Hurry up and
Tony,
get back.
I don't know if you saw, but Tony posted on Facebook.
Yeah,
He was like, "Why do I have to be in Seattle?" When he saw the pictures from the podcast thing.
Yeah.
I really miss him. Tony does not everyone. He like 2 to 3 times a year seems to manage to make it back.
Yeah,
Right.
we got to
Texas.
definitely get him on one of these when he gets
Yeah.
down here.
Yeah, he's an amazing guy. He's an amazing talker.
Yeah.
If he's self-conscious at all, it's in exactly the right way. So I mean, he is someone who would be perfect for like this kind of
Right.
environment. And like he knows a ton about games, and he knows a ton.
He knows a ton about everything.
He does.
that
He's
he
a
knows
remarkable
about.
person. Tony, I dare say, and Tony's substantially younger than me, has totally different beliefs and a drastically different lifestyle. And this is weird for me to say. Sorry if this is weird for you, Tony, but Tony is one of my role models. And I find that the further I stray from that, the more horrible mistakes I make.
I've got goosebumps right now.
Yeah.
I have got goosebumps.
Dan, you just moved the spirit inside me.
I've also got a lot of off-colored white spots on my arm.
I'm so glad we all have great memories of long time ago. That's so fun.
Well, no, I also want to say this is
Vincent does not know Tony.
it's a little.
I don't know, but I've
talked
talked. I think
online.
I've
You
talked
will
to
know
him once.
Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean I know
Very intimately.
we're
yeah.
introducing. Oh, it's intimate instantly.
Yes.
He will take his shirt off,
Good.
embrace you in a hug, tip you over so you have to rest your buttocks into his hands as he'll cradle you.
He's quite a large man.
He's done that
he
to me
can
in public.
Probably hold you in one hand.
That's really the only thing I have against Tony is
I want this
that
now.
he emasculated me like that in front of a whole restaurant of people.
Yeah, but
I could
that's,
not break free. I was fighting him like,
Like
this,
a little
pounding,
baby.
pounding on his chest with my little baby fist.
His giant bear chest.
His beard just swallowing me up. Sorry, go ahead, Dan.
Oh,
I don't
man.
even remember this. Oh, I was just going to say that while I know that there are a lot of people who are meeting us for the first time through this, all of the people at this table, and not just because they're romantics, but largely because the romantics recently got so derailed, have all and continue to have a big impact on me. I mean, we're a lucky group of people because I haven't been involved in the show for long enough to really be able to say this with confidence about myself. But the three of these guys work incredibly well together and have a great support structure. The four of us, I think, have a great support structure for each other.
It's love.
I mean, for me it is, because what I was going to say is I also feel like we're all very fortunate, because I feel confident speaking for all of us when I say we all have a really meaningful friendship, and this is the best time. I know that Wes puts in a tremendous amount of work on the website and on YouTube and doing stream so much of the time, and I know that Aaron puts in a tremendous amount of work actually making this happen, making the films happen, and directing and stressing and giving
pooping. Oh yeah, I'm not supposed to say that word.
Giving himself
Stooling
all over the place.
Mad stools. And,
sometimes 5-6 times a day.
But Aaron has a lot of creative intensity, and he puts a tremendous amount of effort, and I know that Vincent does the same, and Vincent's exuberance is a huge part of the support structure. I got away from what I was trying to say there because I got all emotional. But
Goosebumps are starting to hurt. So it's
okay. But I was just gonna say, I think that we all are fortunate to be involved with this, not only because it's just a good group of people to be doing it together, but also because I feel like we have a really good friendship, and it's cool to be able to kind of share that with other people too, and say this is what can happen when a bunch of like-minded people who really want to understand each other and have a good time, and who like a lot of the same things, who have a fundamental connection, get together and do a thing.
So the moral of the story is get together and do something.
do a thing.
Yeah.
Do a
I mean,
thing.
seriously, that's
never
true.
stop.
That's true. Don't stop.
Okay. Man, I feel like this podcast has gone a totally different direction.
Sorry.
I'm extremely
It's good.
excited about
It's good. We always plan stuff out.
Yeah.
And when the four of us are together, it never happens that
This
way.
is why it took our GURPS group 8 months to kill an enemy.
Yeah. It was like
This
a
is not-
it was like a
it's not the only
DBZ.
reason.
It was a
Yeah.
DBZ episode. I mean, it was like a DBZ episode. It
Yeah,
took
absolutely.
it was like four weeks before we got to the point where everybody was in position to do anything.
You remember that night Tony threw 3 wolves at us and we're like, oh, I almost said the F word. Screw you, Tony. It's going to be a year and a half of our lives
Yes.
gone.
Yeah, and it was.
I was just flabbergasted that the 5 of us would each split up and go different directions. I was like, I am tanking a thing, guys.
Everybody's
I'm taking
like,
a thing.
Matt's like, I'm going to this door over here.
That's
go look
101.
for-
You never Scooby Doo.
Yeah,
That's 101.
exactly.
That was
We did-
exactly what
we
happened.
never got a hold of that,
We
or
scattered
wrapped
to the
our brains
wind.
around that.
We had this little rogue gnome that had the capacity to stun an elephant indefinitely.
Right.
He was picking flower. I don't know what he was doing.
Wait, Abs, he was one of the most useful
Yeah,
during
he was.
combat.
Just because of
Not
that
at that
stun
moment.
thing.
Not at
No, well, I was getting limbs mauled off, and I
And
think someone had to drag me around in a sack.
Aaron's rat character is always trying to figure out unique ways to do unimportant things.
Or he just wanders up and steals stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's like, I'm gonna steal from this wolf. It doesn't have any pockets or anything.
I'm not going to apologize for the way I played. I had a goal for my gameplay, and I achieved it, I believe.
You stayed in. You had specifics as far as character, and you stayed in character, and you stayed true to what your character was doing. You just didn't have a lot of sense of community on that character, and I
No,
respect.
that's exactly true.
I respect that, but it hurt us, and I don't respect that.
I let you guys tie a rope around my ankle and flush me down a toilet.
That's dedication.
I mean, there's that. Yeah, that's fine.
I was
That was more because they were irritated.
I just want to point out that I killed the hell out of those leeches that took you guys 2 sessions.
I'm the one that was whipping the shit out of him with my homemade weed whacker.
No,
I
no,
wasn't
that was
there,
terrible.
and that's not what Tony
I
said.
think
Tony
that
never
you hit an
confirmed
ally.
it. He never confirmed it, but later on, he hinted at the fact that I did chop probably 30 or 40 of those bastards up.
We're the Romantics. Be sure to rate and
Comment and subscribe.
Comment and subscribe.
I think we should reel it back. Reel
Okay,
it back
sorry,
in.
I'm sorry.
It's been fun.
Okay, I'm gonna need everybody to just go ahead and shut the hell up real quick, because this is for
there can't be any dead air.
this is not dead air. This is for our ASMR viewers. So
Oh,
I just
gosh.
shut the hell up for a second. Oh my gosh.
That made me have to piss. I'm not kidding.
Me
Yeah,
kind of too.
that was
If
not
you were wearing this, you would have really enjoyed it.
for those of you who are listening and not watching. That was going in, not coming out.
Wait.
Going in the cup,
Okay.
not coming out my.
It was coffee, guys.
Coffee being
Just
poured.
more coffee.
There's
Into
no
a cup.
good way to dance around this. He was just pouring coffee.
Okay, so moving on.
Okay, really, this is. Here we go. So, some of the mistakes we've made in the past, and some that we continue, or that I continue to make, and that I'm really focusing on for this next episode. Shot compositions have been fairly weak. There was an episode, I believe it's episode, we call it 2, really is our third one to shoot, but it was the second one in the story, where Vincent's in the back talking. Wes and I are in the front, and we're all three having a
I
conversation.
think that one's called yoga.
Right. So whenever it cuts between Wes and I talking, it's fine. The dialogue flows. It makes sense. And then we cut to Lippy in the back, who's also joining in on the conversation.
And it's like, is he in the same car?
Yeah, it looks like totally different lighting. I put, because you're supposed to give them headspace. You're supposed to give them room in front. So you want them taking up the... Move your hand, please. You want them... You want to frame them in this third. So, like, we're shooting. I'm in this third of the camera, and this is all my headspace. I hope I'm using that term right. Anyway, I did the exact opposite. I had Vincent looking at an inch of screen space, and it was all just car behind him. Made no sense. Completely threw off the audience.
Yeah.
And at the time, I didn't know I was doing it because I was having to turn around in my seat really awkwardly and handhold the camera.
Yeah, there's only 3 of us.
Yeah.
And some of the shots that we're doing,
crew.
there's absolutely no way to do that with 3 people very well when all 3 people are in the scenes.
And in a car.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and inside the car.
Sweating our ass.
Yeah. In a car sweating while we're driving somewhere.
Right.
Right.
And trying not to crash.
Oh my
Right.
gosh.
You know.
And as far as it being
We don't do that. We're very safe, Vincent. We don't do that.
Yes, when I'm driving, I don't do anything else.
right, that's good.
We are safe. We don't use loaded weapons. We also...
No, that's wrong. We don't use loaded weapons. We don't use real weapons.
Yes, there's never been a gun on this show. We have
Yeah,
never done
the only
that.
thing we've ever had on the show that was real was a magazine from a gun.
Yeah.
And we only showed that in one scene. Everything else
Yeah, all joking aside, yes,
yeah.
we absolutely don't do that.
Yeah, everything else was a fake gun. It's an airsoft gun that we have that looks very similar to the real gun.
Yeah. I feel pretty good that we fooled a few people.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've
yeah.
actually got comments like asking me like, you guys shouldn't use a real gun, and like it's
No.
not a real gun.
And there's shock factor like in those moments whenever there are gun follies. Like I've sat down and watched the Romantics with like 5 people those first few episodes, and people are always like, "Holy Moses!" Whenever there's any kind of like
Yeah.
gunplay, because it's like it's fairly
That dude's whipping a gun around all over the place.
yeah it's
I saw the bullets.
coming out.
You know, just
Yeah.
flying.
Yeah.
Sorry, that didn't make sense.
Completely.
I thought we were all
confused.
kind of on the same wavelength for that one, but it was just me.
You almost whipped
Y'all did not follow. That's okay.
you go where we cannot follow.
Yeah, that's okay.
That particular scene with the gun kind of flying all over the place for that episode, that was the thing that I was absolutely the most excited about, because I was like, this is going to have payoff. This is funny. And then we got to shoot it, and I didn't do enough takes. I didn't watch the footage. And when I got into the editing room, I was completely let down by the stuff I got.
Yeah, and on that same note, one of the things that we're trying to remedy right now is being able to watch footage on set wherever we are.
Yeah.
We have not been able to do that yet at all. In fact, we don't have a laptop or anything that's good enough to use for that right now. And Aaron's camera is a Canon T3i.
Yeah.
And there are no monitors within our price budget right now that make sense to use. All of the normal monitors you could buy for a camera like that they don't show HD. In fact, they show the same thing that the LCD screen shows, so it's pointless. It wouldn't be any better than, it would only be used for like framing. You couldn't use it to see your colors and that stuff. The only monitor that will do that is a monitor that like reconditions the footage outside of it, and it starts at like $780.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
So we can't do that yet. So in fact, on season 2, episode 1, Hotcakes, that we just did, this time, because we had so many blown out shots and different things in the previous episodes from not being able to tell what we were doing while on the set. For the last one, Aaron actually went outside, shot some video like on my street where we filmed the last one, the first part of that episode, and then came inside and loaded up the video on my computer on an IPS panel and checked it out, and then set his camera up accordingly, so at least we had some sort of a base when we went around, and the episode actually came out looking 1,000 times better.
Right.
So our current goal for the filming part, as far as the equipment goes, is to get something that where we can actually check out the video on set, like a computer we can plug directly into and glance at it, or a just a computer that we can just slap the cards into real quick and have a look at the video, because it's impossible on that little LCD screen to do it without a lot of experience that we don't have yet.
And not only that, it'll help us as acting through, where we can see, oh, I did this, or really see my face doing this reaction, or doing these little nuances, and it looks good, or this looks stupid, or it didn't quite frame in the same way that I wanted to, where I could really see how it worked, or so even that. And that's a huge thing for me, to be able to see right then and adjust how I want to change something, or that should be funnier this way, or
I like that, but I would like to. I mean, I like directing. I recognize it's like my biggest weakness, but I would like to get good enough at giving y'all feedback and asking for things honestly at the time, so y'all don't have to rely on monitor.
And again, everything we talk about here, we're just bringing up all the difficulties that we've experienced. This is a thing that Aaron has had a problem with, even on his bigger project, Pen and Paper. It's impossible.
Being confident enough to ask for things.
But on top of that, the thing that also impedes your progress in getting better at that, there's nothing in it. Okay. The thing that impedes your progress in being able to do that is there's only 2 to 4 of us on Romantics, and Aaron is in a lot of the scenes.
Yeah.
So there's no chance for him to stand back and watch the scene as a third party and then direct.
Right.
So he has to, from within the scene himself, he has to try to direct the thing. And it causes a lot of problems, and it makes it where we kind of are all having feedback on the subject at the same time, and that's good. It gives him ideas, but even so, he still can't just step back and watch the thing.
Yeah, on the last episode we shot inside the restaurant, I watched the wide shot, the 2-shot, y'all talking to each other. I watched all of the takes through the LCD monitor on the camera, just because I thought I had it framed up real tight, and I wanted to make sure that y'all weren't backing out of the frame. And so I watched the entire thing through that, also a little bit, to be honest, because it just makes me feel more comfortable. I have trouble maintaining eye contact with people for very long, but if it's through a camera, it's way easier. And so doing that, I didn't get to notice really the nuances of the performance. I mean, I was happy with the performance. I really was. I'm not saying that, but when I went back and looked at it, I realized what I was seeing was different than what I was seeing at that time.
I thought you wanted to talk.
No, it's a high five because you said how good we were.
Oh, I'll shake your hand. It's quieter.
Yeah. Plus, high fives are cavemanish.
What? No.
Don't stop.
High fives. You don't like high fives?
Don't stop high-fiving.
I don't. It was because of Seinfeld. Like I said, Seinfeld's 25% or 20% of my makeup, 25% of my makeup. And there's a whole episode about it.
For correction, you said 20.
But I'm correcting myself. I'm going to say 20. Actually, 30% of my makeup. So
I think high fives are great. Gives enthusiasm.
Yeah.
For the record, I'm confused now.
I never feel natural when I do a high five.
No, it feels strange.
I feel a little weird.
Yeah.
I do like congratulatory gestures. I do like a
do you like
handshake.
Do you like the butt slap?
I don't think I've ever got a butt slap.
I've gotten a butt slap.
I don't want to start.
I've got a butt slap once when I was playing softball when I was 14.
You gave the guy the elbow?
It weirded me out. Luckily, the guy never did it again because I would have told him not to. What?
Nothing. So, yeah. I'm going to step out for a second.
My brain just told me what you said. You said, was there penetration?
It was there. Yes. Yeah. So, yeah, I honestly, shaking hands, I got to stop prefacing all my sentences with honestly. I was just on the toilet this morning.
If I'm going to lie about things, shaking hands.
I was just on the toilet this morning thinking, I wish people would stop saying, just got to be honest, or I'm just saying. And saying honestly is the exact same thing. So
yes, it is.
I don't want to do that.
I say it too, though.
They think it's it's I'm not racist, but it's it gives them an entitlement to say whatever the hell they want to say.
If you say honestly, then they know you're being honest.
I find the reason that I say honestly is because when I feel like I'm either on the spotlight or just on or whatever, I cut up a lot and I make a lot of jokes and I make a lot of.
So you're saying I'm being serious right now?
Correct. Yeah, because I say a lot of insincere things.
That makes sense.
People know that, but then I think that up to a point, Like if I'm being
It's a thing where you're like, I don't want you to be confused. This is what I really mean.
Yeah, if I'm in that
Yeah.
ridiculous mood, people come to expect that goofiness.
Oh yeah, I get that too sometimes.
Right. I'm being serious right now. I'm not.
Yeah, honestly.
I do the same thing, but for me, it's more like I'm trying to let people know that I'm about to say something that might sound, for like a normal average person,
Like
kind of gross or like self-deprecating. So it's like, honestly, I was on the toilet this morning. I guess that's why. That's
on
my
the
guess.
commode.
Yeah. So anyway, what the shit? Shoopies. What was I saying?
We were talking about problems. I was talking about a monitor. We were talking about a computer. You were talking about looking at Dan and Vincent's scene through the LCD over and over. That's the last thing.
You were talking about a tie frame.
You were talking about the two
wide
shot in the diner.
You were telling us what a great performance we gave.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
and then
right,
they were
derailed.
high-fiving, and they derailed
we
the
didn't
time.
high five.
They were trying to high five.
It wasn't.
It was about the high five. That's the point I was going to make. I don't feel like it's a very important. Oh yeah.
Seinfeld.
Okay, here we go.
It ties back into Seinfeld.
If I am just being honest, instead of giving people a
Please.
high five or a shoulder rub or a slap on the butt,
The shoulder rub is nice.
what I would like to do is just lean forward.
Cup your hands.
Watch.
See, I like that. I don't like the boot part, but I like the just like
That
you're
to me,
so secure in my hands.
That feels
Honestly,
good to
Aaron,
me.
seriously, don't do that.
If I would love it, I love it. I would love it.
Okay, so
See, I like all this. I love high fives. I love booty slaps. I love.
Now they're better friends than me and Aaron. Hey, Aaron, that's fine. You can do that if you want to.
can I do it to you?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, not right now.
Okay.
Oh, okay, right now is fine. All right, let's do. I'm concerned about the mic.
Oh my gosh.
Let's just say something.
Just for the people listening to this, Aaron is cupping Dan's face in his hands and rubbing it, which is what he did just did to Vincent as well.
I get a lot of value out of that.
It actually wasn't bad, but Aaron's hands are kind of cold.
Yeah. I apologize.
How did Dan's beard feel?
It was the bristles were much thicker than I was.
I just
thinking.
realized we were all quite bearded.
It looks a lot softer than it really is. Vincent's is.
Do you shampoo and condition your beard?
I think Vincent conditions. Dan, I don't think conditions.
No,
The beard.
I don't know.
Is that an insult?
Are you calling me out?
I think that might be an insult.
I think Vincent just has much straighter hair than I do.
Yeah, I've tried one time to be able to grow it out like a dirty Dan and then curl it up. I got it once, but it's because it just kind of goes.
Only you would do that.
Okay,
Vincent has some pictures of himself with long hair on his refrigerator, and I don't even know why he cut it, because he looked like Blixer Bargeld from Einstreusende Neubauten.
Oh,
I
okay.
just butchered that. Einstreusende Neubauten.
Dan is very good at making references that
we don't know.
sail way overhead. But thank you for. I know that band.
Our viewers at home know them.
Yeah, there are people that will
He-
definitely know
he
them.
looks
Let
like
us
they-
know if you've heard about this band or know their music.
The frontman or whatever recorded the sound of the mummy's screams from the Mummy movies. I think just the first two Mummy movies. But
And used them. Or no, he was just responsible
just
for
like
them.
like the horror, I can't do it. That horrible sound.
How was that in the headset, by the way?
It was horrible.
Terrific.
Thumbs up.
Mission accomplished.
Exactly.
Okay, let me.
That's exactly the intended result.
I do miss long hair though.
Okay.
Me too, man. My hair used to be
I grew my hair out really long to my shoulders once, and I look like a big fat truck driver.
Was
so
it
I
when you
cut
got
it
out of the army?
Yes, it was.
Were you like, man?
No, it was kind of like I've never done this ever because I went to a school where I had to have my hair cut all the time.
Same reason I did it.
I went to the army and I had to have my hair cut even shorter all the time. Now I'm like doing in-home PC repair and nobody cares.
I had
So, boop.
Yeah, I had long hair my entire life. I had a pseudo mullet. It was all one length, but I brushed it to the side so it looked like a mullet. But I loved my long hair, and I cut it because Jackass got real famous and kind of made long hair popular. And I am superficial like that.
Aaron's a hipster.
You're so counterculture.
At that time, yes,
That
I was
makes
trying to. I feel very badly
That
about
makes
that.
me think of a
All right, so-
KMFDM song.
So, shooting the last episode.
Okay. Yeah, so some of the problems we had with the last episode, composition. I made some mistakes with the dialogue in the restaurant last time and didn't know it until I got down and started looking at it. And Vincent said that he thought there were some issues there.
There was some awkward takes or awkward cuts where
Yeah.
they cut during the middle of somebody talking.
Yeah,
and it didn't look quite right.
Vincent said, yeah, he thought
Yeah.
it was.
And my response to
awkward
Vincent
cuts.
was, I didn't know exactly what he meant, but there were a couple of cuts that seemed very jarring, but I didn't know why, so we'd have to wait for Aaron to tell us why.
It's because
Or
we
me,
broke.
Anyway.
Yeah.
We broke the 180 rule. So,
It's just like when I was watching it, it was kind of, and it kind of just what?
Yeah. So
What?
Yeah,
I'm sitting where Dan
Why?
was. Vincent's sitting where he was.
You have to describe this verbally for the listeners.
We got the
that
camera.
don't
So
have
we're
the
sitting
video.
across from each
We're
other.
sitting across from each other. We've got the camera on our right, or Vincent's left.
Yeah.
And that was our main shot. That was our 2 shot.
And it's like profiling us,
Right.
you know, perfectly
So-
on the side.
we were in a corner of this restaurant where we didn't have a lot of room. I was wanting to use my prime lens, the 50 millimeter 1.4 Canon, because it looks nicer than the other one. It looks way nicer. You just get more clarity and you get that bokeh. And so I was wanting to use that, and then when I tried to switch to the other lens, I realized it was just awkward. It didn't look good. So no matter what I did, I was presented with a situation where I couldn't get an interesting looking shot. And so on the fly, I decided we got to take this camera, and when we're showing Lippy, instead of what we should have done is simply move the camera over like 15 degrees and zoomed in a little bit so we get Dan's perspective. We should have kept Vincent in the right hand of the screen. I didn't do that, so I took the camera and went to Dan's left side, looked over Dan's shoulder, framed up Vincent in the left side of the screen, which Dan was supposed to occupy in the previous shot. And so I break the 180 rule. I go to the other side and completely lose the audience.
Yeah, that was, and I noticed that when I'm watching. If you guys want to see what Aaron's talking about later on, or just whenever you get a chance to reference this so you can get a better idea, just watch season 2, episode 1, Hotcakes, and the diner scene. And he's talking about the transition from where the camera is looking directly at Dan and Vincent to where it goes back behind Dan's left shoulder.
Yeah.
And it's very jarring. Like, I realized it when I saw it, but I don't know camera filming terms and all that stuff like Aaron does, so I couldn't really explain it. But
yeah, I was presented with a situation where I really didn't have any good solution. The best thing I probably could have done, I think I did, I could have also simply not done any cuts. I could have done one take and had it just from that angle. But then you're presented with a 1.5-minute scene with absolutely no cuts, and you lose the audience that way too, because people are conditioned to watch the 3-second long shot. 3 seconds, you're moving to something else. And so,
yeah, which we break all the time.
Yeah. Or you can fudge it with edits that are
we
in the
try
same
to
frame. You can use the Jenna Marbles method, the YouTube method.
I can't stand it, man. I can't do it. I hate it.
The MTV.
Yeah, it's one. You get the one angle, but they do 3 different takes, and then they use
all of them.
They just keep constantly cutting it.
And so,
never stop.
It absolutely is turning the new generation of kids. It's taking their ADHD focus problems and just manipulating it and making it worse.
Yeah. And that's the nonconformist
stop.
part of me that hates that. Like, I can't stand the whole. I don't even like the fact. I think we talked about this not too long ago about some movies and stuff that have those like 2001: Space Odyssey, that have those super long
really long,
single scenes,
but it's fascinating
where it never changes. I love that stuff, man. It's so cinematic to me.
It's a French style of filmmaking.
And nobody does that now in normal media, like the massly delivered media that we get to because it doesn't sell.
Yeah.
And so to keep people staring at your thing, you have to like constantly
wiggle it around a little bit.
Okay, that was a bad choice of words. To keep people from staring at to get people to stare at your project the whole time and watch the whole thing, it's like you have to overload them with nonsense, just constantly, or they lose interest in like 10 seconds.
I've actually realized that some of my favorite current directors actually do both of those things.
Right.
You've seen Sunshine, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I love that movie.
If you like science fiction, can I?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just enthusiastically like. If you like science fiction, there's a movie called Sunshine that not a lot of people that I know saw. It has Cillian Murphy and Michelle Yeoh and some other actors that you would know.
I still have not watched this one.
Oh
Are you serious?
Gosh, dude.
It's
good.
There's kind of a transition in the delivery of the movie, and what it's sort of about all kind of comes to a head at one point, and so you have to be ready for there to be a big paradigm shift during the movie, and I think that threw a lot of people. But it's a beautiful movie. It's a fascinating movie. It's kind of
it's a little Solaris mixed with something with more action.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole lot to it because
it's a psychological thriller.
Yeah, there's a lot of time. There's like a lot of it is like kind of like ponderous and just about
Right.
considering the weight of this tremendous circumstance that they're under. But there's amazing space travel stuff. There's some slasher stuff. Crazy.
I love the design of the ship.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and there's a lot of it is environmental disaster.
Right.
Like I'd say the
Yeah.
middle third of that movie is disaster movie.
Right.
But it's really, really incredible, and it's one of the most phenomenal looking, sounding. The score, like, it's incredible. Like, there's not a lot of music that has impacted me the way that score of that movie.
Right.
A lot of people compare it to the original music for Drive, actually,
Oh,
but it's a lot more symphonic.
Mm.
So see that movie. We're not as close as I thought we were. Get closer to us.
By the way, I have
see
it,
some
Aaron, if
shine.
you want to borrow it, but you can't watch it on your PS3 because I have the old version that does not work on PS3s,
Weird.
Ooh,
which is very strange.
I think I have it too, but
Yeah, there's a Blu-ray version that's older. Don't buy it used because the old Blu-ray version does not work on PS3s. They did something wrong. It's the DVD producer's fault. If you do have that one, you can actually contact them and they'll send you a free one.
that is cool.
What?
Good to know.
I
Yeah.
didn't even know that there was that problem
Is
existed.
it a DRM
Yeah.
issue?
That is a
It's-
hot take.
No,
Or
it has
Kodak.
something to do. It's a Kodak thing, and when they first made that Blu-ray, I don't think that they took PlayStation 3 into consideration, and something's wrong with it.
My point was that movie has the kind of pacing that you're talking about, but
Right.
it doesn't rely on it heavily,
Right.
so you also
Yeah.
get a lot of motion.
Definitely. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you also go with the whole like Children of Men route, where it's just like
Oh, yeah.
we
Oh,
have
here we
these-
go again.
Yeah, we had these like 10-minute scenes,
Yeah.
but it's
so
constantly moving,
amazing,
and so it
yeah.
doesn't. So you're not realizing it as it's happening that there's been no cuts,
Right.
because so much is going on within the scene, and it's it's constantly panning somewhere. So, but by the end, when it does cut, you're like, oh wait, that was just
one
one
scene?
giant, and then you're
So
like,
amazing.
you're like that was one take,
And then immediately
you know?
my first thought was, how did they do that?
Right.
Yeah, it's like I just get super impressed by how much talent it takes to do that.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Well, and the environment is so crazy and
yeah.
interesting.
These are the
and
things that
scary.
we aspire to.
Right. Have you? I'm sorry, real quick. Have you seen that episode of the X-Files? It's the Wizard of Oz episode, and it's split to look like the whole episode is taken in 2 takes. Just 2 continuous things.
Not recently. If I've seen it, I was a kid.
It's remarkable. I'll find out what it's called, and your assignment for this week is to watch it on Netflix.
If you know what it is,
Absolutely.
comment and let us know.
Yeah. This is an easy, quick
It's
way to
really
figure
good.
it out.
Hopefully, we'll have
Yeah.
this answer before the comments.
No,
rough
I mean
enough.
I'll figure it out. It's
Yeah.
or
I definitely
we'll
wanna
just-
see this.
We'll just Google it or something. It's the last really amazing.
All right, so the last thing we were talking about was the diner scene. You were talking about the 2-shot and breaking the 180 rule.
Right, and the reason I did that is because I was forced in. I mean, they were awesome letting us do that at that restaurant. Very cool owner. Really thankful that they let us occupy their space for 4 or 5 hours to do what we needed to do. Very enthusiastic about it. Really cool
Yeah,
place.
while they had tons of customers.
Yeah.
Good food. It's
Yeah.
really really
And
good.
and the place is called Snug on the Square.
Oh, yeah,
It's
yeah.
in McKinney. It's in the bottom of the film credits in the description.
Yeah, McKinney, Texas. Money Magazine's #1 place to live in 2008, I believe.
if you're visiting
Top 5 for the past 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
if you're visiting Dallas or the North Dallas suburbs, seriously make it a destination because it's delicious and it's like cute and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
They have
fun
recliners
environment.
in the windowsill you can sit in.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And a balcony.
Yeah, so kind of going back to what they were saying about the long shot, and when you don't break a take, the actors are forced to be in the moment. You're forced to fill the frame with interesting things, and when you go to the shorter takes, you can fool the audience into not noticing that stuff because their brain is constantly having to readjust to the moment. So you can get away with not having very interesting looking shots at all, and that's something I would like to be able to keep the audience's attention without having to follow this new rule that I just can't stand.
So you want it to be genuinely entertaining and not just busy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Absolutely. And I'm not a photographer, so I'm having to learn how to compose a good shot, how to make it look pretty, and how to make it meaningful.
Yeah, and once again, like even talking about this stuff just during this podcast thing, I think helps us verify or sort of understand what things we like and what things we want to try to do.
Right.
Because we're still completely new to this. I mean, we're fresh as babies. Having done 5 short episodes that are 2 to 4 minutes long is nothing in the world of filmmaking. I mean, it takes people years and years and years of actually doing this stuff to become good at it. So
yeah,
that's what we're striving for, and that's what we're using this stuff for.
You are seeing our naked baby bodies laid out with all sorts of filth that needs to be cleaned up.
And
we are laid out on the
cameras
living
and
room.
Sound equipment.
We are laid out on the living room floor. Our mother is in the other room grabbing the box of wet wipes, and we are laying here covered in filth, begging to be cleaned up.
Getting very.
Oh god, I miss those days.
Until Aaron started talking about filth, I was going to point out that 2 of us are single. We are, but I'm just going to leave it unspoken.
Well, it's already been spoken now.
Say love you.
Oh my gosh.
I'm really clean right now, like in a literal way.
He practices a very strict hygiene regimen. I've watched him brush his teeth. It takes forever. It's awful.
I'm very vigorous. There's a lot of bleeding. There's not.
I've seen the floss go in one side of the tooth and make it all the way over the top and down the other, and I don't know how he pulls it off.
That's clean.
Yeah. I'm really proud of that one. Oh my god.
Be sure to rate and comment.
You're not supposed to pat yourself on the back right after you make a joke.
No, every once in a while you gotta. I feel so shitty I feel so poopy about myself on a daily basis. I have got to throw a compliment my own way every now and then.
I don't even understand what kind of tears these are.
They're orange. We're gonna have to call that quits because Dan's actually got something leaking. Nah, that's not funny. Abandoned. Hopefully I won't do that.
Abandoned ship.
Abandoned thread.
Yeah.
All right, next.
Okay, so this.
We're sorry.
One of my goals for this
We're
next
so sorry.
episode.
We're all sorry.
One of my goals for this next episode that we are shooting tomorrow, is I want to storyboard it. Actually, I have not.
That's tomorrow.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my gosh.
I have yet to storyboard anything
Corn?
because
Who's hungry?
We are poor.
Yeah.
So hungry.
We're not really. I mean, we don't have any money. We can't secure locations like a typical production crew would be able to. So I find locations typically a day or two before that I would like. Sometimes I have to rework a script to make it fit, and I'm really not left with any kind of time to sit down and plan shots. So I have a general idea of shots I want for this next one. I'm going to sit down and try to process through that because I have an idea of how I want it to work. So I'm going to go ahead and storyboard it. We're going to see if that has an effect on
getting it done.
Yeah, the way more or less making sure that I have success with the shot compositions, because that's been a big thing that I need to
all the stuff he's
corrected.
talking about too, like all this having different locations and all this stuff. It's extremely difficult for us because we literally have one day to do it.
Yeah,
we can't miss something and then come back and fix it another day because we don't have time.
Yeah.
So we have to get all this stuff done on Sunday, completely done, and then Aaron has to make sure he has everything before we all go home because, for one thing, Vincent lives like 45 minutes away from here. I don't know how far you are now, Dan. 45 minutes away. Yeah. And then when they get here and we're trying to film this stuff, we're driving all over the place to these different locations. It takes up a ton of time. You have to set everything up every time you get to a location.
So tomorrow,
I think I was just gonna say I think all four of us have a lot of responsibilities outside of
right.
A day of shooting or whatever.
Yeah,
too.
So
we have to nail it.
Yeah, if it's not done in a day, then we're kind of
I mean that means we won't hit our schedule, and that's another thing we've done as organization. We're trying to make this thing come out on the same day every 2 weeks.
Right. And 80% of the lighting that we have at least is natural lighting.
Right.
Yeah.
There's sound. We have to break for wind.
Yeah.
We're a private investigator show, so we can't shoot it inside of a living room. It has to be outside.
Right.
We have to deal with wind. We have to deal with birds.
And it is
chirping
windy in
trees.
Texas all day, every
It's never not
freaking
windy.
day.
There's a lot of, there's a lot of like Wayne's World when they're playing street hockey. And they're like car, and they have to take the thing in. I mean, we don't film in the street, but we do have to
jump out of the way of cars. Yeah.
And bicyclers coming down the sidewalk who seem a little irritated and different things like that.
And neighbors who want to come out and get their mail, take them 5 minutes to get a letter back into the house.
Or just kids that have questions about what we're doing.
I actually kind of enjoyed that.
No, it's true, but it is a delay.
It was thrilling. Right. Yeah. So are you guys? I would like to everybody be here at 9.
Yeah, that works.
And then be on our location at 9:30 and having the first. That's not going to happen. I would like to be able to be on location and setting up. Yeah. I would like to say action at 9:30.
You can say action whenever you want. Doesn't mean we're going to be there.
Okay. Are you guys cool with that?
Sure.
Yeah.
How late do I have you tomorrow? Like,
as late as you want.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. As long as there's daylight.
Okay.
After daylight, I have stuff I'm going to do.
Okay. Yeah.
He's a night man.
All right. So
speaking of night man,
aside from scheduling,
never mind.
What's next?
Well, I think there's no end to the amount of stuff we can talk about. So I think we should wrap this up. Let me real quick find my list of goals for this episode, and maybe I can share them. Maybe there's no spoilers in here. I cannot remember.
In the meantime, you have anything you want to say about like your character for tomorrow? Like goals for your character? Nothing.
I'm trying to figure that out today. Okay, there's nothing outside of, there's nothing new that I would think of doing. 'Cause it's all most of the script is all pretty straightforward.
Yeah,
there's nothing like. And a lot of like the action stuff I figure out because I don't know how it's shot. I don't know how
So Vincent plays his character much like Libby the character actually is.
Right.
Wild and shooting from the hip. Yeah. Dan, anything for tomorrow with your character?
Actually,
but without giving away anything.
No, but I just feel like I really enjoyed episode 5, which was my first episode. It was my debut. I'm the freshest baby. But
with the most poo on him. Teasing. I'm so teasing.
It's
Dan.
filth, not poo.
Every time I'm going to segue into the fact that I'm single.
Aaron's good at that.
You bring up the filth.
I get the ladies while talking about the poo.
The ladies.
He's throwing you under the bus while getting them for himself.
I don't want any ladies. I'm married.
That counts.
She's a lady.
I suffered through dating.
She's a lady.
I get her every day.
So let's let Dan answer his character.
Anyways,
I didn't feel like exceptionally scripted the first time, but when I went back and watched it, it was not as natural and didn't have the same kind of just like energy and like this is just my character doing what he does that you guys have, and I know that you're a little bit more experienced with that. And I can see progression from the first episode to the latest episodes of you guys just being yourselves or your characters or whatever, and I would like to really emphasize that and kind of make the character my own by just getting into it and just being and not really worrying about how I'm behaving and how I'm expressing things.
You have a bit more of a challenge than Wes and I do. You're with Vincent over there because you are tasked with playing this character that is really not like you.
Yeah.
I need to ask you this because Vincent engineered this character that's so absolutely off the wall. And my character is a little bit more down to earth. The fact that Lipton is not really a part of society and he's not concerned with things like status and these kinds of things. He's just concerned with weird little Asperger spectrum things. And he scratches at bird and trails.
Yeah, in books.
In books.
So
He thought it was a scratch and sniff, to be fair. We cut the sniff.
Scratch and sniff bird and trails.
I was hoping it was going to be real.
He has so much liberty, and Lipton, just as a person, acts with so much abandon because he's really just aware of himself. And this character is kind of the opposite of that, and so I was really concerned with how to deliver it the first time through, and I think I'm going to try to just put that concern away and just interact.
Yeah, you were also just, it was your first time, and you were just terrified, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that kind of terrified. He was worried about fitting in as an actor, because he's never done it before.
Thing.
It was I tried to explain to him it seems different for me and Aaron and Vincent because we've been doing it now together for 5 episodes now, and it was the same way for me and Aaron the first time. It's still that way for me now. It's just
not so much for us. Like doing the pen and paper thing,
yeah.
I am scared beyond belief every time. I can feel my jaw starting to shake, and I realize I'm surrounded by people that
the stool starts to move.
Probably are expecting things of me that I simply can't deliver.
Makes it hard to sit on.
But when doing the romantic thing, we started off as it kind of being like a fun way of
It's like casual.
Yeah, it was. So we got eased into it.
And we way more closely play ourselves than you guys.
Yeah. I just want to say two things really quickly. One is to people who have left YouTube and Facebook comments and said that they're on Team Dan. I'm really going to try not to let you guys down because Team Dan is never going to stop. And I
am really thrilled about your character.
I just want to say thank you to those people for your support because that actually made me feel really good.
Oh, good.
And I got really excited about that. And
Dan enjoyed.
So Dan enjoyed. That was a legit thumbs up. I wasn't even forcing that. It just came out of my hand.
That's a thumbs up you put in all the comments that were Team Dan.
Another thing is as far as the Twitch community you were talking about earlier, Wes, the times that I've been able to join you guys, it has been really amazing, and I want to thank you guys because I know that you do on the Twitch channel, which is Twitch.
It's We Are the Romantics.
We Are the Romantics. Yeah. You have really made a lot of this possible for us by creating the foundation of that community. Every time I've been on, it's always been a really good experience, and everybody is really funny, and people are surprisingly welcoming. You don't really see that in a scrolling chat with video.
Most of Twitch is not that way either.
Right. And it's awesome. I work 95% of the time that Wes is streaming. My name on Twitch is Father Lives, and you will see more of me as I'm available.
Randomly,
yeah. As I'm able to bring lunch to work.
And they know I always call you guys out when you come in, so they know who you are and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
And I already I know what you guys do for us, and I really appreciate it. Just everybody being there.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry I haven't been around more.
No, that's totally fine, dude. And there was actually a statue erected of Lippy in our Minecraft server.
There was.
I saw
Yeah, it was a Lippy, God Lippy statue, the God Lippy. And it was erected in one of the towns and worshipped.
By Mr.
Very flattering.
By,
That was great.
See, I wrote "Hi Jake" on the back of the page.
oh.
But what I want to say,
Aaron likes Jake because every time we play Minecraft, Jake eats cookies in Aaron's face.
It
right
shouldn't
on
be
screen.
funny, but I can't help but giggle. I would also like to apologize, and I don't want anything else said about it because I'm embarrassed about it. I would like to apologize from the Minecraft server. Okay, so
what I want to say about Dan's character, and I think it's this is the way I feel about it. Is where at least with mine, I had a lot more freedom to be able to. I was given a small outline of based off your dialogue of what y'all think I am, and then just based off how I respond to a lot of things, I could pretty much. It wasn't hard to just think of stuff to do what I want to do with Lippy, but with yours, you're just. It's like you've already been introduced, and it's like people should already know who you are. Well, it's like you have this secrecy to you, this almost just shadow to you, whatever. So it's like you don't have much you can go on, and I'm losing my train of thought, and it's killing me.
I know what you're
destroying me. It's like I don't know if you help me out.
you were given paint by numbers, and you went off and made your own picture that had nothing to do with the numbers. Dan is tasked with
An actual format.
Yeah, he's the antagonist. He is a skis. It's obvious in the dialogue, and it's hard to figure out.
I want to be a skis with a heart. What? I want to be a skis with a heart. Can I have a heart later sometime? Just even briefly.
Skis with a heart. Yeah, I didn't know.
I didn't hear the T. I heard a D. So
skis with a heart on. Right.
Oh, I got to pee so
here.
hard.
I don't currently have a heart, as far as we know.
Yeah,
that's fine.
What I'm saying is
character.
nothing's said about you. Nothing is
Right.
Who is this? There's just this mystery. There's
just
this mystery about you, and so you don't. So it's like you have nothing to work with.
Right.
I think that's why it's so
you're
hard.
right now. You're totally separate from every other character.
What Vincent is saying right now is I failed as a scriptwriter. And
No. I'm just saying it's hard for him.
Right.
Harder for him to do something than it is for me.
And also, some people ask me about Dan's character and make comments about what they think Dan's character is going to be like or what he's going to do.
What'd they say?
And one person actually made a comment saying they didn't understand Dan's character. And my responses to all of those things is you're not really supposed to yet.
Yeah.
The whole point of Dan's character is he's an unknown. We don't know what he is. We don't know what he's going to do.
We don't even know if it's Dan.
Right.
You know?
We don't know the point.
We know his
His
name.
name's never been said.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
exactly. All we know is here's a character. All of a sudden, he's talking to Lippy about these guys, and it's like, what is going to happen? So Dan's character is an unknown that is going to be developed. So as it becomes developed in the show, it'll also be easier for you to play the character, I think. So as we go along.
I would like to say that Dan's character is kind of inspired by, is it Dr. Zoom from the Flash comics?
I have no idea.
You serious?
Yeah.
Professor Zoom. The
Okay.
Anti-Flash.
Okay.
Okay.
Now Aaron's pulling out those things that
man.
nobody else knows.
You were my safety net on that comment.
He's yellow, right?
Yeah.
Just like Wally.
Yeah. Yellow and
Young
red
Justice.
highlights. Okay.
Yeah.
I whiffed that
I
one.
like cartoons.
I like cartoons.
Okay, so I think that's a good stopping point. I feel like we could talk all day,
Okay.
and I'm eager to go.
Well, let's
hear your
let's just say from all of us here, we really appreciate the support from all of you guys. I got a couple of questions for you guys here at the end of this, and I want you guys to remember to give us a thumbs up on the video, and also leave a comment for us about just anything you want. But I've got a couple of specific questions here, and I want to see what you guys have to say about this stuff. First of all, what kind of stuff do you want to hear from us next time in regards to filmmaking and this whole process that we do? Any questions for any of us, anything like that, make sure you post them in the comments, and we will definitely answer them in our podcast. And then the other question is, we all talked about some shows that we really like and influences that they've had on us. Leave a comment and let us know what's your favorite TV show and why.
And don't afraid to get deep with it.
Yeah,
Seriously.
if you've got like all kinds of crazy reasons, like you love the cinematography, you love this, you love that, let us know all of that. We want to know. It's very interesting for us to find out more about you guys, and we want to start interacting with you more through these podcasts. So we will see you next time. So bye from me.
Y'all take it easy. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody.
Doodles.